What is leverage? Leverage is using other people's money or a bank or a financial institution's money to add to your money when you make an investment. Now, we use leverage all the time in our lives. We use leverage to buy a home. We use leverage to buy a business or a practice. We sometimes use leverage to buy cars. Look, there's good debt, good leverage, bad leverage. But let's talk about leverage that is meant to be an investment, something that's going to grow, something that's going to produce something for us. So if I invest, let's say $100, or I have $100 to invest, and I need more because I want to make a larger investment. So I borrow $400 from a bank. Now I've got $500 total to invest. Let's say my investment goes up by 10% that year. Well, that's $50. 10% of $500, that's $50. It went up. How much money did I put in? $100. So I made $50 on my $100. That's a 50% return. Pretty amazing, right? Why don't I do that all the time? Well, because leverage cuts both ways. It can amplify our wins, our gains, but it also can amplify our losses. So what if that same investment of a total of $500 goes down by 10%? Well, it's lost $50. But I had $100 in, so about my $100, I lost $50. I took a 50% loss. And I still owe the debt on the money I borrowed at $400. Not a good position to be in, is it? Let's talk for a moment about the risk-free rate. What's the rate of return I can earn on any money I invest in without really any risk of losing that money and really getting the return on the money that's promised? Well, that's money or investments that are backed by the U.S. government, which are treasury bills, treasury notes, treasury bonds. Bills are the short-term interest rate products that we can invest in. That's the debt of the U.S. The U.S. government is, we consider, the last place it's going to default on the money it owes. So if I invest in U.S. Treasury bills, let's say 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 3 months, that means I get my money back with the interest in that period of time. Today, paying about 4.25%, 4.25% interest. That would be considered today the risk-free rate of interest. Now, I want more than that on most of my investments because why? Well, inflation today. What's inflation running at? Well, the government wants to tell you that inflation is down to around 3%. Well, you can believe that if you want to. I believe that they manipulate the numbers, and we really have to look at what's my real cost of living today. My personal cost of living, if I look at really the numbers, over the last 5 years has been way over 25% over a 5-year period, running way over 5%, probably 5, 6, 7% is really the cost of what I purchased in my life. You decide what it is for you. Whatever that number is, if we're not earning at least that much after tax, we're going downhill. The point of investing money is to make that money grow and to build our net worth. If inflation's eating that up too fast, then we're in trouble. So what do we try to do? Earn more, right? 4.25 is not going to cut it, at least on the predominant amount of money we invest. I want more. Well, there's plenty of people out there today that will tell you they can give you more, right? I see the ads all the time. I see ads of mid-teens, 12, 14, 15, 18%. I've seen them 20, 40. I've seen returns promised or hypothesized to be as high as 60%. How's that happening? How is that sponsor, that platform, that company giving me that kind of rate of return when the risk-free rate is 4.25? They're using leverage. That's the only way to do it. And they're hoping, like we all hope, that using that leverage, in fact, the more leverage you use, when the investment goes up, the greater the returns. And that feels good for everybody, does it not? The problem is, where are we in the market cycle? If the market cycle is uncertain, it's more volatile, then promising or taking that higher risk with higher leverage, more debt, has much higher risk. And the chance of losing that money and then some becomes greater. So we have to decide. We have to decide what we're going to do in that particular case. Today, if I buy a real estate property, whether it's a single family rental or buy a commercial property like a self-storage or multifamily or a retail center, the rate of return without using leverage on those investments run about 4 to 6%, depending upon the geography, the asset class, and the class of the property itself, Class A, Class B. Generally, good properties, not lower class properties. Return, if I put 100% of my money into them, net cash on cash return between 4 and 6%. Well, that's about the same as I'm getting on U.S. Treasuries, right? 4.25, or maybe just a little bit more. So you have to decide, is the risk for me putting money into a real estate investment today, if I'm getting 4 to 6% net after all expenses, is it worth it? Well, that's why you have to use leverage, because I want to get a higher return. It's not worth it. But again, the risk is there that if the market tanks, if equities come down in value, then I've lost it all. So what am I saying? Leverage can be a good thing, but also can have a lot of risk with it. Leverage amplifies your gains, but it also amplifies your losses. High returns usually mean higher risk. Can you afford that kind of risk? Or how much money can you afford to risk at that level? In uncertain markets, caution beats greed. It's not fun to sit on lower returns, but in a marketplace where there's more uncertainty, I think it makes sense to be more cautious and wait for the opportunities to come back, because the markets cycle. The opportunities will come back. It's just that most of the time we're not patient enough to wait and be discerning and learn what to watch for when the markets do turn. Finally, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Be very, very careful of those who promise the high returns. Learn to dig in and understand what the model looks like, how those returns are being promised, how they're being generated, what kind of leverage is being used. That's what you have to understand, and not just go for the high numbers that are being promised. It's a risky marketplace out there today. You can navigate it, and people that have done this before, been through 4 or 5 cycles, understand what to do. But I'm just cautioning you not to be complacent and think that just because high returns were there in the past, that they'll continue on without unmitigated risk in the future. It's just time to be very, very cautious and understand what you're doing.